place where danger waits, and it's bound to forsake me. So stupid minded, but I go crazy when I can't. Flying high in the fearless sky without leaving the ground. The rest of the folks are tired and weary and have laid their bodies down. Place where danger waits, and it's bound to forsake me. So stupid mind.
Let it be written, so let it be done.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We got some new things going on. As you can see on my screen, we're still getting together. We got new things going on, and let me turn this off, and let's see if I can get this thing back up. Yeah. Welcome to the Mic Council on Heritage Hip Hop. Like I said, I'm trying to still get some things together. This is all brand new. Still learning the kinks of everything. Can y'all hear me good right now? If you can, please subscribe to the channel, heritagehiphop.com. Join me on Heritage Hip Hop on all social media. You know the deal. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on all social media. Hit the like button, comment, share. Join me. This is going to be a good conversation today. And today's topic will be respectful. First and foremost, let's see if I can get my screen up. That would help, right? I don't think I can get my screen up. I'm learning new stuff as we go along, everyone. Please pardon me. No, that's StreamYard. It keeps saying StreamYard. I got some new things going on here. I see that screen in the middle? I'm trying to figure out that. Yeah, this is cool. All right. I don't think I could do it. All right. So first and foremost, today is about, y'all like the Rakim versus Nas, not Rakim versus Nas, but the Rakim and Nas video that I did. It was about the shift in hip hop culture that came with, it was the shift in hip hop culture that talks about Nas and Rakim. Whose shift impacted you the most? Because both of them had an impact and they both shifted the culture, but which one affected you to the point where it was like, this person did this for me and why, right? Today, we're going to give some love to the West Coast. We're going to give some love to the West. You see that? That's the Heritage Hip Hop logo that we have done by Mayhem Media. If you ever need any logos or anything, go to Mayhem Media, Mayhem Media, Mayhem Media, and they'll hook you up. For all my people on the West Coast that are supporting Heritage Hip Hop, would you like a shirt with this on it? If you would, DM me on Instagram at Heritage Hip Hop, and let's see if we can make this happen. And if you need a logo like this for a t-shirt, your website, or your brand, check out Mayhem Media, Mayhem Media, Mayhem Media on Instagram. This is my guy right here. He did a great job. Heritage Hip Hop today is going out west, and we're going to talk about two prolific movements that came from the same coast, where a lot of people fail in hip hop. The West Coast does its thing. You know, I can't even lie. If it wasn't for the West Coast, a lot of growth in hip hop would not have happened. Now, in the East Coast right now, people are arguing who created hip hop, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, or Americans, foundational Black Americans, as they're called today. I personally think that's a stupid ass argument to have. Of course, it's Black culture. You know it is. But to argue who was here first and everything, listen, you're arguing over something with an agreed upon man-made date of August 11, 1973. There is no hospital records that say hip-hop was born on this day. There is nothing that says that these are the parents of hip-hop or whatever. Hip-hop is cultural, and it comes from a culmination of many things. But Black culture is the foundation of what hip-hop is. So if you're arguing that, not only are you arguing a dumb conversation, and you're trying to gain something that you're not really going to get, hip-hop has been so infiltrated and taken over that it's dumb as hell to talk about who started it when you don't even create it or own it now. It's fucking stupid. Shout out to my man Free TV. It's my dude. You freedom. Salute. Why are we arguing over something you don't control? None of y'all can put y'all children in hip-hop. None of y'all can give y'all children riches and make them bosses, as Dame Dash says. None of y'all are free to make an industry of it so that you could do whatever you want with it. You still beg people for deals. You still beg for attention. Some of y'all claim independent, and y'all not really independent. Y'all have distribution deals, which is a deal, which means you're not independent because somebody's still getting a cut. So what exactly are we arguing for? Who got the biggest nuts? Because that's stupid. Hip-hop was always about peace, love, unity, and having fun. And I think I'm going to do a mic council on that conversation, of course, because hip-hop culture is dying right in front of our faces, and no one seems to say anything about it. Not to go too far into that, I want to take it back to the West over there, because the West Coast has been holding hip-hop down in a way that a lot of these other people in these other sections have not been doing. And one person in particular is Kendrick Lamar, and we're going to talk about him a little more in depth later. But Kendrick Lamar and his pop-out concert showed unity in a way that it kind of made me think. And this is my biased conversation. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. Just type it in the comments. I want to hear from you. But I will say, Kendrick Lamar showed a sign of unity that most people in other parts of the country who claim hip-hop don't. And with that pop-up concert, we got to see different generations of the new hip-hop with the narration of OGs being there and an OG, a godfather of hip-hop on stage. I'm from New Jersey. Let me tell y'all something. I don't see that shit. I don't see nobody from out here doing something where everybody gets on stage respectfully and gives people the time to do something and keep it all in their one region. We have a great concert put on by the city of North called 24 Hours of Peace. But you know what it is? People come from all over, and some Jersey talent get on. But it's the people from New York and where Philly and stuff who get on, and then people celebrate. Like Fat Joe's on stage, KRS-One's on stage. Last year it was Sheik Luch, Ghostface, Jim Jones, Pete Rock, Milk D. I think CL Smooth was last year. We have that over 2 days, right? 24 hours. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to New Jersey, Nah. And part of it is what you said is New Jersey doesn't really have anyone that's big like Kendrick to do it. Arguably, that's true. We don't. You know what I'm saying? Free TV says the West, for the most part, show love to their local MCs. We're going to get there in a minute. But even with showing love, someone has to carry the torch for you. And because New Jersey is still stuck in the 90s, that time is over. And much respect to Tretch, Do It All, Redman, Queen Latifah, Lauryn Hill, Wyclef, then Ella Sensei, and so many others. Respect to all of them. They are able really to do what Kendrick does because Kendrick is now and they are then, right? But let's talk about the major points that it takes to be able to be in the now. When it comes to the West Coast, right, it has nothing to do with what we do on the East Coast. The West Coast is more tribal than here. And I appreciate that because when you're tribal, it means you stick to yourself and you represent who you are with no bend, no circumstance. This is who we are. This is what it is. And I shout out people like Vince Staples, who's one of my favorite MCs from the West. I shout out Tyler, the Creator. I shout out the Our Future Movement. I shout out Pac Div, even though they ain't together no more. You know what I'm saying? West Coast had the hyphy movement. Shout out to Mac Dre, RP. You know what I mean? E40's out there, Too Short. You have so many legends on the West, but they are unapologetically West, and they take care of the West. The West has their own beef. The West has their own culture. The West has their own dynamics when it comes to hip hop. When it comes to West Coast hip hop, I made a comment earlier that kind of went viral that people jumped on. I said, if it wasn't for Jersey and George Clinton, a lot of West Coast sound would not be what it is. I'm not saying New Jersey started West Coast hip hop, but it contributed highly, right? Because P-Funk and Funkadelic music is a very big part of what makes the West Coast sound what it is, right? I say all of it because Zapp and Rogers not from New Jersey. More bounce to the ounce, salute. It's a lot of stuff. You got while people out here breakdancing and pop, they were out there pop locking, which is different. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff you see on old TV, people bouncing and, pop locking is more West Coast. The movie Breaking, that's more West Coast. We had Beat Street and Wild Style, they had Breaking 1 and 2. You know what I mean? And when Hollywood got their hands and grips on West Coast hip hop culture, it became gang culture all over the world. Well, they already had Colors, Ice-T highlighted that in that movie with Sean Penn, Colors. Everybody knew about Bloods and Crips, right? Then we started learning about the Hispanic gangs and stuff. But then we had Hispanic hip hop, Lighter Shaded Brown, Kid Frost, the Hall of Famers, Cypress Hill. We had a lot of that. It came out, and hip hop for the West Coast was what it was. I mean, it just was what it was. And if it wasn't for Ralph McDaniels, if it wasn't for Pump It Up, if it wasn't for Rap City, a lot of us would never have seen what the West Coast was. NWA for a lot of people was the beginning of West Coast hip hop, while Toddy T and the Battering Ram was like the one song that a lot of people give credit to for authoring in the West Coast sound. If y'all don't know about Toddy T, look up Toddy T Battering. It talks about, if you saw the Straight Outta Compton movie, that tank they had that was popping people's doors, check that out, right? And the West Coast has many, many, many MCs that are great. That's doing what people doing today, what they did back then. Think about it. Ice-T, King T, Too Short, E40, NWA, Above the Law, DJ Quick, the Hieroglyphics, Della Funky Homo Sapien as a solo artist, Domino, The Dog Pound, Death Row, Ruthless Records. You have so many movements. Sick With It, I think, is out there, right? Wasn't that E40? Sugar T, that's her name? And his brother, I forgot the name. But it was a lot of them out there that was West Coast. MC8, Count the Most, One and all them. Salute to the West, yo. Yomo or Malky, the Lynch Mob, which we're going to talk about. So much came out the West Coast, right? But when you think about what the West Coast is, a lot of people only focus on gang culture, which is unfair because there's a lot that the West Coast contributed to hip hop. And one person in particular who I think I wanted to really share. Let me see if I can get this thing working again. One person who I really wanted to share when it comes to hip hop. Let me see if I can pull it up on my screen. One person who contributed to hip hop he contributed to hip hop in a way that we cannot deny his significance when it comes to how we look at hip hop today and what it is. We gotta give respect. Let's see if I can get this picture up there. I apologize, y'all. Like I said, this is all new. I'm trying new things out to make the show better and interactive. One person who made hip hop what is this man right here. I'm gonna tell y'all something about me. When I was little, learning about hip hop, this is one of my favorite MCs of all time. Period. And let me tell you what made Ice Cube so dope. It's not the fact that he was in NWA. That's not what made Ice Cube the man to me. Ice Cube represented a shift in hip hop culture that not only made the West Coast seem more relatable, it also was more alarming because of him being a man and taking a stance where people of color still in hip hop in those days really were the enemy and we couldn't speak out. Ice Cube represented what he called street knowledge. And Ice Cube was the person on the West Coast, for me personally, who brought real life to the game, or real life to my ears, and gave it in a way where it was relatable. See, as a little boy, my brother got me into Public Enemy. I was Public Enemied out, right? And when I first learned about NWA, I think they were on the verge of breaking up, right? So Ice Cube wasn't fresh to me for NWA. Everybody was riding the Eazy-E coattail because Eazy-E was the face, right? But when you really got to sit down and listen to the NWA albums, NWA and the Posse, NWA, it was like, yo, Eazy-E said Ice Cube writes all his music. So who the hell is Ice Cube, right? And unfortunately, which was necessary though, Ice Cube had to leave NWA to blow up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody watching. Please hit the like button and share this and join in the conversation. Hit your comments. Let me know what you think. But when Ice Cube went solo, and Ice Cube broke the barrier of East Coast and West Coast and brought it together with Chuck D, who, like I said, growing up, that's what my brother gave me. So all the Nation of Islam and the Black Power righteousness and all that, when that came to me as a young kid, Ice Cube seemed a little more relatable because he was younger. People said I looked like Ice Cube at one time, which is crazy. And Ice Cube was just a man, yo. His writing technique was amazing. The simple fact that this man could rhyme his ass off was fearless, got into beef with his old crew, and stood 10 toes down as a man. That was amazing. And to me, not only did his rhymes seem believable, his character was so larger than life that Ice Cube was like someone I looked at for inspiration when it came to how to write or how to express myself. Because as a child, I was taught not to express myself, right? So when I first heard America's Most Wanted, I was blown away because I really didn't know too much about what classic albums were at the time. This was before Illmatic came out. The only album I had that was, like I said, my brother pushed me towards Public Enemy, and I appreciated them more and more as I got older. But when it came to Cube, please, man, America's Most Wanted was crazy. This is the first rapper who ever came out who had a song said, "Fuck you, Ice Cube. Haha, I'm the nigga you love to hate." And it was like, what? He talking about hoes. He talking about selling out of a crack house. He had a fairy tale, gangster's fairy tale. He had songs about men and women going at each other. He had a song, Who's the Mac? I mean, it was crazy, right? America's Most Wanted was an album that gave you a different perspective of life, yet had the same themes of reality that you face on anywhere you are. So when Ice Cube was doing music heavily as his main bread and butter, Ice Cube established himself as one of the most dominant MCs there was because Ice Cube was able to use street knowledge and teach you, reach you, as well as stay street and hood so you can relate to him. Free TV says, if I'm not mistaken, Q was one of the few MCs from the West Coast that got respect from the East Coast at the time. He had to earn it. Now, let's be real. He had to earn it. When Ice Cube first came to the East Coast, they booed him because they didn't like the Jerry curls. West Coast was bigger than Jerry curls. They didn't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? I think the first MC that got love over here from the West was Ice-T, if I'm not mistaken. And remember, Ice-T had the beef with LL Cool J. But when I go and talk about Ice-T, salute to the OG Ice-T, one of the best ever. Gotta give him respect too. But Cube, to his point, came to the East Coast, allied himself with Chuck D, and it was Ice Cube, right, that brought a different perspective of Islam from the West Coast point of view to the East Coast. He was rhyming with Big Daddy Kane and Chuck D. That was big at the time because people did not like features back in the day. It was all about how can you carry an album by yourself, right? And Ice Cube was one of the first rappers who on his debut album had his crew already set. Because before he was in NWA, he was in a group called CIA, Criminals in Action. And I forgot the name of that before that. But it was him, Sir Jinx, and KD. They took that, brought in Yo-Yo, started the Lynch Mob, which is his own crew, and they was just running with it. So Ice Cube came out. He had Man's World, which introduced Yo-Yo, Man vs. Woman rhymes that people do today. Ludacris did a whole album of that shit. The Battle of the Sexes joint. Cube did it best to me with Yo-Yo on It's a Man's World, right? And Cube not only stayed street, he put out an EP after America's Most Wanted called Kill at Will, where he went at NWA. Y'all know about jacking for beats. But he talked about East Coast and his boys on the West and said that he jacking their beats and making it even hotter than what they had. So he took EPMD beat, Public Enemy beat. He took everybody's shit just to establish himself as the best out there, right? But it wasn't until Death Certificate came out that Ice Cube really sat on the mountain of hip hop. That was his Mount Rushmore album right there. When Cube cut off his Jerry curl and became more conscious, but street conscious, salute. He became more street conscious. That's when Ice Cube really stood out. Death Certificate is one of the most important albums in hip hop history because Death Certificate gave us Dr. Khalid Muhammad on a high level, rest in peace. It gave us an album that instead of said side B and side A, it said the life side and the death side. And death is where we are and life is where we need to go. That right there tells you that album is very introspective and very, very driven. Off of the Rodney King killings, off of the riot in LA, you had songs like Horny Little Devil about interracial relationships. You had I Want to Kill Sam, which is about taking black men into the from the inner city into the army so they could die in war. You talk about Black Korea, where they had the issues with Korean and black people at the time, where people was getting shot at Korean stores. I mean, Ice Cube was giving you the pulse of the community on his album. Shout out to my man Free TV. He says, not to mention the dead Uncle Sam on the album cover. That's right. It had a toe tag of a Caucasian gentleman, and Uncle Sam was on his death certificate. So it was really a statement about standing up against the injustice that was in America. See, the shift that Ice Cube represented for a lot of people is that Ice Cube brought the West Coast street knowledge mentality to the East, and people on the East were blown away. Because here in the East, it was rhyme. It was how well you rhyme. It was wordplay. It was Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. It was syllables and syllables, entendres and entendres and all that, right? Cube could rap, but he rapped with a canvas and he painted pictures. Heritage Hip Hop does playlists, y'all. So if you ever want one of my playlists, just DM me and I'll email it to you, right? And I did one called The Art of Storytelling, right? And on there, it's one of his songs called Summer Vacation. If you ever listen to Summer Vacation, it's about how people from the West Coast went to St. Louis and instituted gang culture in St. Louis and how it backfired and they got shot up and they had to take that shit back out there, but the influence of the gang was so heavy that they changed the dynamics of a society with gang mentality. That was unheard of when that came out, y'all. I mean, when I'm talking about the shift of Ice Cube on hip hop culture was amazing. I'm not talking about Friday. I'm not talking about anything after Death Certificate for right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we could go to Lethal Injection. We can go to Predator if y'all want to. That's fine. But it was the simple fact that Ice Cube came into the game as the gangster who was the writer and transformed himself into the street conscious individual that wanted to teach, but yet lets you know ain't nothing soft about being street and smart at the same time. And that's what made street knowledge so dope. Whether he was with the Lynch Mob, whether he was by himself or with Chuck D and Public Enemy bomb squatting, or whether he was with the Mad Circle, because he was a member of the Mad Circle, which was him, Cypress Hill, B Real and them, WC, Coolio. I don't know if King T was a part of the Mad Circle. I'm not sure. But Cube was affiliated with so many movements. And then even when Aftermath started, they were dissing him on The Chronic. But you see, he was in the video Today Was a Good Day. So Cube was around everywhere because he was one of them dudes. He was one of the top people in the game. And if it wasn't for Ice Cube's influence, I will say, where would we be without the street knowledge movement? Where would we be without songs like no, that's the wrong album. Like I said, Wanna Kill Sam is one of them, but Bird in the Hand. One about the rapper I'm going to talk about used his lyrics fresh out of school because I was a high school grad. Got to get a job because I was a high school dad. I can't remember all the rhymes, y'all. Pardon me, but y'all should know that rhyme for Mad City on Good Kid, Mad City. Kendrick got it from him. You see what I'm saying? Ice Cube used his music not only to tell you about the issues in America, he told it from a street point of view. Even when he was beefing with NWA and Jerry Heller, they tried to say he was anti-Semitic. And if you saw the Straight Outta Compton movie, you saw how that went and how Ice Cube took a lot of heat. Today, they still ask him about it, and he apologized for using Jew and it becoming a major thing because all Jewish people aren't evil. Let's put that out there. But I don't believe that. He was done wrong by one, and he categorized him using the nation's term, and they got on him. But Ice Cube's shift in hip hop is one not only that's great because it put the streets on its ear, it took our culture to another level because it showed not only can you be street, but you could be intelligent too and show the world our culture means something and it matters. And I mean, that's what's very important when it comes to that's what's very important when it comes to hip hop, because hip hop was always the voice of the people who weren't getting heard. And at one time, the West Coast was not getting heard. The people thought, I remember one time people thought the West Coast was corny. Everybody just had red and blue on. They would just shoot each other, and that was corny. But it showed us there was more out there. Shout out to Free TV. He said, "Do I have to sell me a whole lot of crack for decent shelter and clothes on my back?" Hey, and that was in the crack era. That Snowfall stuff that y'all watch on TV, that's what he was talking about. See what I'm saying? Salute to Ice Cube, yo. That Ice Cube is he's one of my favorites of all time. You know what I'm saying? But that's not where we're going to stop though. Let's see if I can put up another one. Y'all like this, right? I'm trying my best. I'm trying to do something good. Like I kind of like this right here. If I can get it to work, that's not working. It's not working. Give me a second, y'all. So Ice Cube is one of the first artists I wanted to talk on today. The next artist, y'all already know. I'm not even going the latest. Let me just see if I can pull it up. Let's see if I can pull this up. All right, here we go. My computer's doing gymnastics with me right now, y'all. Sorry. Bam. Y'all know who that is. Y'all know who that is already. Kendrick Lamar. Now, Kendrick Lamar gets a lot of slack when it comes to being an artist because in today's hip hop is not as appreciated as much as hip hop was in the 90s, even in the early 2000s, if not the late 80s. And Kendrick has positioned himself as one of the greatest in the culture, especially in this present time. Give that man some respect, whether you think he's great lyrically or not, or I think he's pretty good. I think his mind and his creativity has made him craft 3 projects that are heralded and 4 that are amazing in context. Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, which is a classic to me. To Pimp a Butterfly is my favorite Kendrick album, and it's classic to me personally. Damn, and you also got you got the Untitled thing he got out, right, and all that. And Mr. Morale and the Hot Step is not one people critically acclaimed, but it's more cult classic to me because his fans really go hard for it and the motifs that he paints. Kendrick is another one who gives you street life in such a way where it's so relatable that it's hard not to argue his case on being one of the best. And let me tell you what I mean. See, the mainstream gave us swimming pools. You know what I'm saying? And that was his crossover song, Swimming Pool Full of Liquor and You Dive In, right? We got that. But when you listen to Good Kid, Mad City, when you listen to Shireen, when you listen to that freestyle, when you listen to Good Kid, Kendrick Lamar is talking about being chased by the police, being harassed, the gang culture itself, trying to stay pure-hearted in a city that's corrupted. I mean, if that's not what Death Certificate did on another level, I mean, for today's generation, it showed you that there is something more out here, especially for the West Coast, than just red and blue. Shout out to Nipsey, shout RIP, shout out to YG, shout out to everybody out there who reps their colors, but stands for something else. And the one thing I respect about Kendrick and TDE, they took different aspects of West Coast life and they formed something powerful that shifted the game to the point where nobody could deny who this guy was. But like I said, he's not the best lyrical person in the game. He's not. But gifted he really is. And when he called himself the King of New York, that's what really got people really talking about who the hell this man is. Because then he had answers from all over the place that people acknowledge and don't. He still put New York as number 1, but said he's going to be the king of the East from the West. Ice Cube calls himself the Pope, if not the king. He said he was the king of 2 coasts and hip-hop culture itself. Good Kid, Mad City showed the boy becoming the man. And To Pimp a Butterfly showed the man's spirit. He showed the man's spirit as it was fighting to be something better. To Pimp a Butterfly is one of my favorite albums because of the concept. As I said, Ice Cube did with Death Certificate about showing us more. And I talked about the backdrop of the Rodney King riots, right? George Floyd got killed. And we got an anthem from Kendrick Lamar, All Right. It did the same thing. But with the Black Lives Matter movement, whether you believe in it or not, I personally don't, but whether you believe in it or not, Kendrick Lamar's All Right, it's going to be all right and all that. That was the anthem that a lot of people took and they raised their fist to show unity, which is being attacked in hip hop today. But he showed unity in the song that got us all singing, we going to be all right. No matter what's going on, we're going to keep fighting and we're going to be all right. And that has been the attitude of hip hop since its inception. Whether you want to argue if hip hop started in 1973, 1974 or earlier, it doesn't matter. The point of it is that it was about us always having a voice. And it took someone from the West to keep us back, put us back in perspective that no matter what goes on, we have a purpose. To Pimp a Butterfly to me is one of them albums that people got excited when Kendrick talked to Pac, right? That's cool. But if you listen to the song, How Much a Dollar Costs, where he talks to the homeless man and the homeless man was an angel and he put his life back in perspective, that was deep. When Kendrick talked about how much people will still love you if everything goes wrong, that's deep. Lucy being the devil, Lucifer, and his conversations with him. That's deep. As he went on in his career, he made songs, Loyalty with Rihanna. We got Be Humble and all the other stuff. The damn album is very fucking good. But just like the concept album of Death Certificate, To Pimp a Butterfly showed the introspective content of what a man is when it comes to the world based on the eyes and gaze at, not from, at hip-hop culture. Because with Ice Cube, right, inner city men were always looking for direction. And that album showed Ice Cube become the street child to the man. And you heard Khalid Muhammad, and he was backed up by West Coast MC and legend, my dude, Salute, Cam. We start seeing the Nation of Islam come into the conversation of Ice Cube, and it took that street knowledge to another level. Now, with the loss of the 5% Nation in hip-hop, but the presence of Islam being there, Kendrick did the same thing with Hebrew Israelite and Christian themes. So Ice Cube brought the God perspective into hip-hop on a street level, and so did Kendrick. Both of these men not only gave us pop, pop, pop rhymes, but they also gave us who are you, because this is who I am rhymes. Once again, fresh out of school because I was a high school grad. Got to get a job because I was a high school dad. That already sets up something that that's the part of manhood that most people don't talk about. Responsibility, pressure, what I'm going to do now. Because most people talk about hustling more than they talk about, shout out to No City 2. They talk about hustling more than they talk about the reason why you're hustling. Sliding doors. People will talk about what it means to be macho, but not what does it take to define your manhood. And 2 albums did that. The Death Side, Where We Are, Steady Mobbing, things like that. Going towards the enemy in the street and then turning our gaze to what caused the enemy on a higher level. And then Kendrick gave us something where a man's battling his internal and battling for his eternal soul. And this wasn't Christian rap. This was just deep introspective stuff. And because Pac is so beloved by people, some people, I say y'all love Pac falsely, because some of y'all just love the ignorant shit and don't even think about the dopeness and complexity of how true Pac was from his heart, rather than from the I don't give a F mentality. He had a conversation with somebody he looked up to talk about being real and about the soul. When it's just a fan, are you still a fan? How much does a dollar cost? You're talking about dealing with sex, the mind, being a complete soul, being a king, King Kunta, everybody dancing, but did you hear what he said in the song? Are we really going to be all right? These 2 MCs showed me personally that the West is one of the winners in the contest of what makes hip hop great. Because while people try to pigeonhole them into just being gangbangers, or people try to pigeonhole them into just being street kids, we miss the beauty of their hip hop, which is musical, which has bounce to it, which has a different part of that soul aspect to it. And yet, once again, tells the story of men who struggle in a society that counts them out and doesn't think they're worthy. I'll be back with some more after this commercial break.
Hey, Redman is in the building, of course. Jersey's finest, all about them bars, marijuana smoker. Hey, PSA announcement. I need everybody go support. That's right, support my fucking state, my city. Heritage Hip Hop, a New Jersey media source that celebrates New Jersey hip hop worldwide. Facts. And we are celebrating our legends right here, Jersey, baby. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on social media. That is Heritage Hip Hop on social media. Jersey, you know I love you. Jersey, you know we got bars and we got music and we got legends all day. And if you believe in Jersey and you love Jersey like I do, support that Heritage Hip Hop on all social media platforms. This is Redman and I approve this message.
Salute to the OG Redman. Can't wait to get him on here, y'all. That's going to be dope, especially for me. I'm a Redman fan. Back to our conversation. So let's see if I can get this last picture up here. It is hard to get this thing working, y'all, but guess what? I'm going to learn it and it's going to be fire. It's going to be fire. Don't even worry about it. But today's conversation is how the West was won. Because a lot of people will focus on, when it comes to the West Coast, Mustard and the sound, not like us and all that, right? And to be real, Kendrick was real. We not like them. The West Coast has done something that over and over, it's done something that showed the world that West Coast hip hop is very necessary and prominent. And these two MCs over here, they did it. Now, I'm not arguing saying that they're the number one MCs on the West, because Kendrick probably is now. But arguably, Snoop is the king of the West forever until he decides to give it up. And I think he did. I think he passed the torch to Kendrick. And that's another thing. Most people don't pass the torch. But let's just get back to the point of the matter. Snoop is the one when it comes to the West, because he's been in the game since what, 90, 91? Snoop is everywhere, right? But Ice Cube did what Snoop didn't do. Ice Cube cemented himself first in other regions of the culture to make sure he never went away. He took his storytelling ability, right, and went to movies, documentaries. He's doing basketball now with the Big Three. Salute to the Big Three. Kendrick is taking his music, and he's gotten into acting, but now he's got PG Lang, and it's interesting to see what he's going to do. But the one thing I give Kendrick credit for, and Ice Cube credit for, they highlighted unity rather than being separate. Because Ice Cube has been fighting for unity amongst people of color in his country since, let's just say, death certificate. When it came to unifying us against a social enemy that that's trying to kill us, whether his stance has changed now from back then, I mean, probably. I can't say it has or hasn't. I haven't been paying attention. But for how the West Coast benefited from Ice Cube's movements, come on now, let's give that man some respect. And it was a united eye on the West Coast due to the help of Dr. Dre and Ice Cube and Snoop Dogg that the West became so prominent that we had to give them their respect. Peace to Maximus. He said, the Ice Cube crossed that path where he is now known for his entrepreneur endeavors more so than his music. Probably, because they've been talking about today. And he's not relevant musically today. Kendrick is. And that's why I put him there, because both Death Certificate and To Pimp a Butterfly did something that most people on the West weren't doing. I'm going to give people respect. You have people on the West Coast that made politically conscious music. If you know Yomo and Marky, they had a song called F.O. Glory. You know, F.O. Glory is the American flag, right? So they had a song that was geared towards looking at the flag for what it is, right? You had people been talking about police brutality. If you think about the Boys in the Hood soundtrack, WC the Mass Circle, the policemen are your friends. They're here to protect and serve. But if you're black, you better watch your back, because if you don't, then you will get served. You had rap. Shout out to my man Jarnell. That's my guy, one of my best friends in life. That's my brother, y'all. He with me. Razcast had the classic that got him blackballed, Nature of the Threat, what's the name of the album, yo? Soul on Ice, right? He had that. Maximus says, man, I remember the days of Public Enemy and the X-Clan, all of the sudden gangster rap was popping. But think about this, because we always say that, right? We always say the gangster rap was around when that was out, because gangster rap came out first before conscious rap. The first gangster rapper I remember is Schoolie D and Just Ice. That was way before damn Public Enemy. So it was always here. It's just that the money got put behind it, and that's why it blew up. And people weren't really giving conscious rap its due. That's what makes Ice Cube and Kendrick so pivotal. Because when Street Knowledge came out, that was conscious rap from a street perspective. If you look at To Pimp a Butterfly, if you look at the themes of the album, that's conscious rap. Even on Good Kid, Mad City, there's conscious rap on there, but it's from a street level. And sometimes, and this is what happened with a lot of conscious rappers, sometimes you can get so conscious you're preachy and you lose the people because you're not relatable anymore. And that's why those two albums and these artists are how the West was won means so much to me. Because with Ice Cube, he brought the people the perspective they needed. Whether it's lost or not is on us. But with Kendrick, he kind of fortified that on the next level. When Kendrick did a pop-up show, had a 3-part show, DJ Head, shout out to him, his first part of the show was about bringing out new people from the coast in LA that you never heard of. I haven't. Who the hell are the Cuzzos? Shout out to those 5 girls, the Cuzzos. Them being a group and doing West Coast hip hop, I salute y'all because that's new and that's what's needed. Everybody, you got other females out here shaking their ass and can't rap. Talk about get it sexy or are you a fart or something? That's not good music. That's trash. Shout out to Lotto who's doing good music. Shout out to Lady London. But on the West Coast, you got the Cuzzos. You got Neelam from the Nation of Islam rapper. She is amazing. Amazing. And we don't really see that. But you know what? Kendrick did something to put them on. I didn't know RJ Mr. LA, Jason Martin. I didn't know the Whoops. I don't know them. And that's just 3 examples of people who came out to perform on his show that he gave a platform to form this unity that's needed to make hip hop great, that we're missing in our culture right now. Peace, love, unity, and having fun. There is no peace because people out here talk about getting high, shooting, and being over-sexualized to the point that it's damning the spirits. There is no love, it seems, because everybody's killers, getting high, having non-relation, like sexual deeds with each other. We're doing all that, and now we have single mom stories, single dad stories, but the single dad still gets shitted on because he's not the mom. Or traditional man, modern woman. We have a traditional woman, an alpha male, a sigma male. We have all this bullshit, and there's no love in that conversation. And right now, with the talk of blacks, Jamaicans, and Puerto Ricans, Fat Joe fucked up with that. I ain't really that mad at what he said. Fat Joe ain't the one. Fat Joe said we were there together, and and I don't blame him for that. I critique him for how he said what he said, but he didn't say nothing wrong. Busta Rhymes fucked up and said something wrong. When Busta Rhymes said, there is no culture in America and only Puerto Ricans and West Indians made hip hop, he got knocked on his fucking head because that's not true. But I give respect to the West Coast because they don't have to go through all that. What they do is tribalize themselves. What they do is they come together to form something for themselves. We all know about the gang mentality, right? We all know about how the Mexicans and the blacks and Bloods and Crips and all that don't mix. But it was dope to see Bloods and Crips get together on stage. It wasn't a lot of any Latin representation at the concert, and they could work on that. They only did the first part, and that's cool. But that unity, which is part of the essential glue of what makes hip hop what it is, was shown there. And that's how the West was won. Because through unity, we got to see people come together and make something great so that the world can see. Everybody was so gassed on Not Like Us being played 5 times that they forgot the fact that different people from different gangs came together on a stage to show the world that we can get our shit together and we could be unified. You could say The Message could be the first record. Sure, why not? Curb Serving album of the day, let out RP Crazy Tune. Salute. What happened ain't gonna hurt nobody. We just dancing, y'all. Nobody wants to dance no more. And if they dancing, it's just ass shaking. You go to strip club, what do you do today? Yeah, Buster said that. Buster said some crazy wild stuff, and it was just ridiculous. And today we have so much fight against the unity of hip hop that we're not taking the time to love our culture. And I give salute to the West Coast with these two MCs, because I don't know any other two MCs from the West offhand. I'm not saying there's not, but on a mainstream level, to bring the street consciousness together, to talk about the man, the spirit, and growth, there's no one who did it better than them two from the West. And I give support to Paris, the Black Panther, who was a rapper. I give respect to Cam. Like I said, West Coast Cam. Love it. You know what I'm saying? I give respect to even Too Short had conscious records. Legghetto, Life is Too Short, So You Want to Be a Gangster. They had it. But it was these two MCs that took it to another level. Shout out to MC8, Street Hood Done Took Me Under. Come on, yo. DJ Quick told you about the influence of the West, just like Compton. But these two men took it to a level where we were looking at the conscience of the culture through the eyes of people from another coast. And while it's regular to them, you got to understand, the game was separated on purpose. See, the East had the audio. The West had the visual. And they tried to make it all about that and destroy it. But the South had the heart of the game. And that's why hip hop has stayed alive so well, because the South came in. And maybe y'all could tell me, who should I do next? Scarface and Three Stacks? Should I do how the South, how Southern hospitality kept the game afloat? I don't know. Y'all tell me what I should do next. But when it comes to the West, Ice Cube and Kendrick Lamar help save us as a culture, where other people in other areas don't have the balls to. See, New York is so big on themselves that you don't even see them putting new people on. And especially when it comes to the radio, because in the radio, they want to be the world market and not even salute the people that's in their own backyard. Yeah, there you go. And you talk about the marketing. Yeah, exactly. When you talk about the most important, they're two most important records, in my opinion. Like I said, this is my opinion. Death Certificate and To Pimp a Butterfly are two of the most influential and essential albums in the West Coast hip hop. And you could put Good Kid, Mad City there too if you want to. I just don't think it's just as introspective, but it's a great album to me. You know what I'm saying? When I say one, like I said, it's them making their mark in the culture to be recognized. Because everybody gonna say NWA straight out of Compton, right? But NWA only had like a 3 or 4 year run? Maybe 5. Maybe 5. Salute to my man, No 82 Facts. Eye-opening conversation. Salute. That's what the Mic Council's for. It's not about just talking to people. It's about things that go on in our culture that make us think. And that's why I'm so proud of this part of Heritage Hip Hop, and I want to grow it even more. And maybe I could do this with a live audience, and we can have a good conversation. But the fact that hip hop is losing its collective consciousness is alarming. Look at the Jay-Z and Nas conversation to bring it back to the East. Jay-Z always clown Nas. What you trying to kick knowledge? But then Jay-Z dropped 444. And 444 is one of his most critically acclaimed albums when it came to content, what he was saying, right? Story of OJ and stuff, right? But look at Nas. What goes around comes around. Black president joint, right? Even Life's a Bitch was kind of conscious, you know what I'm saying? That was real. And when it comes to being real, that relatability to the street and to the game of life is what always makes people remember you and make you stand out. The Bloods and Crips album on the West Coast, yes, salute to them. My man Jarnell said Victory Lap. Yes, Nipsey was talking game on that one. R.I.P. to Nipsey. I Gave You Power. Salute to Nas for that. And AZ, yeah, AZ. Everybody, see, that's the thing. East Coast hip hop always had the conscious element, but we never give the West Coast props for their conscious elements. A lot of Dark Man, West Coast Wu-Tang Killer B. We don't never, Planet Asia. We don't never give them the respect they deserve for having it. That's why I wanted to highlight it on this platform, is that the West was won not because of gang culture. The West was won because they made albums that made us look at the collective conscience of the hip-hop culture. People always will recognize Eazy-E because he was a gangster, right? I mean, that's what it is. People always talk about Death Row Records because they get gangster shit. Tell me one conscious album that came out on Death Row. A conscious album. Not an album with a conscious song or two, and it was, like, Death Certificate was conscious as hell. The Pimp a Butterfly is conscious as hell. What do we have? We got songs on the Chronic. We had Little Ghetto Boy, right? That was conscious. I mean, if you want to put some of the Pac shit up there, cool. But what really is conscious about Death Row? Ruthless at least had one. They had F.O. Glory by Yomo and Marky. Ice Cube didn't even do it on his own. Ice Cube had the Lynch Mob. Gorillas in the Mist. Y'all know that album? That was conscious as hell. R.I.P. to Shorty. I think Shorty died. Look at Kendrick Lamar and the Black Hippie movement. Big loss from them. Because they ever would have came out with that album, it would have been amazing. Right? It would have been amazing. If him and J. Cole would have done that album together, that would have been amazing. Right? But you still do see with the Black Panther soundtrack how Kendrick helped put that together. We did get something special. And what's to happen now? See, Ice Cube is going off outside of hip-hop into different ventures. He's going to be the Don Mega. He's going to be the King of the West, West Side Connection, and Mount Westmore and all that. He earned that spot. He's done. The most intriguing thing is the influence of Kendrick Lamar and how is he going to go forward. I wish our world was different, because you know what? If Nipsey would never had died, right? Imagine what Nipsey and Kendrick could have done together. We already missed out on Nipsey and YG collectively. But damn, what would Nipsey and Kendrick could have done together? Think about that. We seen what Ice Cube did with Chuck. We seen Ice Cube with Trespass. We seen how Ice Cube even helped elevate Dr. Dre with Natural Born Killers. They elevated each other, actually. The Cube was the benchmark for a lot of shit. Because remember, after Snoop came out, the Dogfather came out, Snoop fell off. I don't know. I can't tell y'all this 100% like I know everything, because I don't know about the Alcoholics. Exhibit's one of my favorites, but there has not been a 3-album run in the West Coast as strong as Ice Cube's until Kendrick. Am I right? Mainstream. I'm not talking just you being a fan. I mean mainstream. America's Most Wanted. Death Certificate. I mean, you can count the EP, Kill at Will if you want to. Death Certificate. The Predator. Lethal Injection, right? Section 80. Good Kid, Mad City. To Pimp a Butterfly. Untitled. Damn. And then Mr. Morale and the Hot Steppers. I personally believe there's not been a better album run in the West Coast besides from Ice Cube until Kendrick did it. Now, I'm not saying Too Short didn't put out good music. I'm not saying if y'all like E40, I ain't saying E40 didn't put out good music. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is in the mainstream, these two men has solidified the West in a way that I don't know. The West is solidified through that. The Game is amazing. Shout out to The Game. But The Game don't make conscious music. The Game beefs, which is not about unity at all. And you know, being a man who believes in God, it says one of the things God hates is heresy, which is when you cause confusion and you try to break down the family on purpose. I ain't with that. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what hurts The Game, is that he always has to do controversy for when his albums come out instead of just stand on his immense great talent. These gentlemen right here, though, they didn't do that. I mean, you can't. NWA got at Ice Cube, but did he stay dissing NWA? No. He said his one song and that was it. He was finished. They did an album with 4 songs about him. He did one song and shut it down. But he made sure he talked about the collective conscience of America. One of my favorite Ice Cube songs is When I Get to Heaven. And though I don't believe in everything he said, he really asked us questions with a Marvin Gaye sample. I wonder will they call me a nigga when I get to heaven? And like I said, Kendrick was talking to an angel. He thought the angel was a homeless man, and the homeless man Cade told him about his soul. That's deep. If y'all don't know about great podcasts besides Heritage Hip Hop, check out Bar Talk. That's my man Railroad Gutter right there. BARTAWK. Bar Talk. It's my people. But yes, think about how important it is as a rapper to be true to the game. Sound familiar? Ice Cube, death certificate. Being true to the game and being relatable to the people who listen to you. See, in the East Coast, most rappers out here want to be so lyrically nice, they just want to outbar each other and they forget the people that listen to their music. That's why a lot of people don't go far out here. Everybody's lyrical, miracle, spiritual, blah, 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 and all that other shit, right? But they're not talking about who they are on the inside. Samaj Savage, one of those people, artists that can talk about who he is as a soul and give you bars. But a lot of people are just rapping for the sake of sounding good on a record, but they're not rapping with a purpose. And if you don't rap with a purpose, then what is the purpose or the reason somebody should listen to you and elevate themselves off of your words? See, most people are looking for followers, but they're not looking for peers or mentors or followers. Notes 82 said, just rapping is boring. Yes, it is. Notes 82 has a great song called Malcolm and Martin. Y'all should check that out. New York Times is my favorite New York Notes 82 song. And y'all should listen to it. He has some stuff on there that really talks about the perspective of life. And that's East Coast. West Coast wise, I can't say I listen to too many West Coast people because I don't get introduced to a lot of West Coast music. But for the people I listen to, L.A. Russell, nice. Give that man respect. Like I said, Vince Staples. I like Vince Staples. Ever since I heard Lift Me Up, I like Vince Staples. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick. What's my other name, man? For they call him the Black Lit Pastor. I forgot his name right real quick. But that Absol is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Schoolboy Q talks real stuff when he wants to. J-Rock too. I mean, like I said, these are credible artists from the other coast. And because everybody always talks about East Coast bias, I wanted to be sure I came on here today. I wanted to make sure I came on here today to give the people from the West Coast their props and their respect. Now, before I get out of here, everybody, I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the Mic Council, How the Busters Won. Ice Cube and Kendrick Lamar. If you like what you heard, you want to hear more, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Hit the like button on this video, but comment. Please comment. Share the video with your people. If you want to donate, please, I'm trying to build this platform to be bigger. $ Heritage Hip Hop in the Cash App. In August, that's next month, we have the Heritage Hip Hop Awards. I don't have a venue still, but I'm working on it. And I'm looking for a venue, and I have awards. You'll see who wins Album of the Year, Group Album of the Year, Artist of the Year, One Mic Award, and the Govmatic Award. That's 5 awards that we give out every year to people who do their thing in hip hop and hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? Once again, somebody challenged me to know why I do what I do and why I say the stuff that I say about hip hop. But here's the reason why.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Karel at Heritage Hip Hop. Right now, getting certified with the master teacher himself. Came from 1520 Centric Avenue, came to the Temple of Hip Hop, 3-day course.
Yeah, you saw that. So yeah, I'm a graduate of the KRS-One School of Hip Hop from the Temple of Hip Hop. That video what you saw with him talking about Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans and everybody being there when hip hop was created. Yeah, I was in that class. I was there. So that's the conversation we may have later, because I'm not about I'm not about the people not being united in hip hop. I'm all about togetherness and unity. So we could talk about that. Also, y'all saw that hat I had on, right? If y'all want Heritage Hip Hop apparel, go to heritagehiphop.com.
Peace and blessings, everybody, on this wonderful Sunday morning. New merch alert. on sale for the next 48 hours, $16. Go to tpublic.com/heritage hip hop. You know the original design, you know the shield, you know the hero, you know how I represent New Jersey, the MC or the artist standing on the stage. Now look at this, silver, purple, and black. New merch available right now on www.tpublic.com. Check out the new merch and get you some, yo. On sale, $16 a shirt for the next 24 hours. Damn. Go get yours today and support the movement. Make sure you subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on all social media. Peace.
Yeah, I got merch too. So if you would like to support Heritage Hip Hop, there's many ways to support. I'm thankful that y'all gave me your time to watch and support the channel. I'm indebted to everybody. May the Most High bless you many times over. And after this conversation, we're doing this. The tragedy of Kanye West. That's going to be a good one too. And if any of my West Coast people out there from California, if you want a Heritage Hip Hop shirt with this logo on it, DM me at Heritage Hip Hop on Instagram. I will create the shirt and put it on that website just for you so you can buy it. All right? So before I get out of here, may the Most High bless everybody. May the Lord honor you and keep you. And most important, be good to yourselves and be good to each other. Because at the end of the day, you see what they're trying to do by keeping us separate, and I ain't with that shit. So for everybody out there, peace. And I'm out.
Real hip hop. Real hip hop. We here. Real hip hop.